Do you think that Law can move Zoro? You know, he wasn't able to move Kaido and Big Mom. Like, do you think he can move
I
Zoro?
don't think he'd be able to shambles him now. If his Conqueror's Haki is on his swords and he's full blown utilizing it, no, I don't think he'd be able to. I think his Haki would cancel that move out.
Big Mom is a better hockey user than Zoro is. So even
Okay.
if we wanted to go into the hockey element, a person with superior hockey than him still struggled to deal with these two people, even though she had
Yeah.
access to an ability that would allow her to deal with them in the way that you're suggesting. Zoro is more impressive in general than Big Mom and could beat Kid in Law if they teamed up against him.
This is evil.
This is terrible, bro.
I think it's evil to say Zoro is more impressive in general than Big Mom. I do think that's evil. Now, Zoro could beat Kid in Law if they teamed up against him.
You're crazy. You're outside your mind, bro. What is this Zoro gas, bro? You gotta chill.
No, it's not Zoro gas. So I'm not looking at it from the aspect of being a fan of Zoro. I'm looking at it from the aspect of Zoro was utilizing Conqueror's Haki, like the way he was utilizing it. And Big Mom wasn't. Big Mom was very Devil Fruit reliant. I feel like if she used her Conqueror's Haki attacks, most of their attacks probably don't even land. Let's put it this way, right? If Kid is being affected by Hawkins and Zoro is utilizing Conqueror's Haki, and he's not specifically punching, but he's like, I'm gonna cut the hell out of you. I don't see how he doesn't cut through Kid and takes him out. And the thing is, Zoro's known for taking his opponents out in one shot. He did to how many people now? Especially Mr. One, he basically took him out in one shot. There's a lot of people that like he's just taken out in one shot. I'm pretty sure. I just can't remember them. But that's how he ends most of his fights. I can see him just cutting through Kid. He cut Apu, that same arc, in one shot and ended him. Now, that's with Hawkins interfering, right? But that has to happen. But if it's not happening, let's say Kid is able to use his magnetism. I don't think that Kid can take away Zoro's swords because he has Conqueror's Haki infused into them. If Haki is supposed to cancel out like Devil Fruit abilities, and Laws was being canceled from like Haki that Big Mom and Kaido had, and we know they have Conqueror's Haki, I don't think he could take his swords away. So that means what does Zoro do when Kid is like building all these fantastic and phenomenal structures like the bull? I think he just cuts through the bull. And then Kid has to rebuild it somehow. So he's always like off balance. He's not quicker than like Lucci or King. So Zoro can keep up with Kid's speed. Now, the problem comes is like Law. Like, how do I deal with Law? I don't think Law is a better swordsman than him. I don't think Law can like create room and cut through Zoro. I just don't think that would ever happen. And I just think that that's also somebody that Zoro could just power his way through because of his Conqueror's Haki and the way he utilizes it. I just don't see them like I don't see how they could win.
This is insane behavior, bro. I'm sorry. This is one of your worst takes.
I don't understand how it's the worst take. I'm telling you, like
I'm gonna ask you a couple.
this is
things.
what the story proves.
I'm gonna ask you a couple things. Do you think that Law can move Zoro? You know, he wasn't able to move Kaido and Big Mom. Like, do you think he can move Zoro?
I don't think he'd be able to shambles him now. If his Conqueror's Haki is on his swords and he's full blown utilizing it, no, I don't think he'd be able to. I think his Haki would cancel that move out. The same way like he wouldn't be able to change Zoro's heart the way he did on Punk Hazard with like the Straw Hats. I think his moves would not be able to be used.
I don't know why, but okay.
I just explained it. Conqueror's Haki is being emitted from him and he's utilizing it.
Law can move Conqueror's Haki users. He can't move Kaido and Big Mom. You get what I'm saying? Like, Zoro isn't on that level. He doesn't have Conqueror's Haki close to that level. Utilization, mastery, output, anything. He's not a Conqueror's Haki monster in the way that they are, which is why Law couldn't move them. He can move Zoro, in my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'll eat that. But I'm confident he can move Zoro.
Those two were not utilizing Conqueror's Haki at all. They were just existing. And
but
he
it was
said their
Conqueror's
Haki was too strong.
Exactly, but it was their Conqueror's Haki and their willpower that prevented him from moving them. It wasn't it wasn't observation Haki that was preventing Law from moving them. It wasn't their armament Haki that was preventing Law from moving them. It was their Conqueror's Haki. Zoro's still getting lessons from Gaban about even utilizing his Conqueror's Haki. I can't sit here and be like, yo, he's immovable by Law, which is a Yonko level feat. You're basically considering Zoro a Sky Splitter right now, and he's not. That's not who he is at this point in time.
You probably are right. I will say this. To say Zoro doesn't have the willpower for that to not work on him, I think it's incorrect. I think Shambles can't be used because Zoro ended up fighting Hybrid Kaido and was still able to get up after Conquest of the Sea with 20 broken bones and leave a scar on Kaido without utilizing his Conqueror's Haki. So his willpower is insanely strong. I think the thing is, like Gabon said, he also leaks out Conqueror's Haki without him knowing he's doing it. So already, this person, he has a stronger Haki than Law, and that's without him doing anything. So if he's now utilizing it and focusing it, and he's prioritizing it, I don't think that Shambles is capable of being done.
We'll just have to disagree there. I'll move on to my second point. A lot of why Kid's bag was ineffective against Big Mom was because of her insane durability. We could argue or agree whether or not Kid or Big Mom, who's faster between her and Zoro, who's more adept at fighting between her and Zoro, etc., etc. But Kid, with the help of Law, was able to land relatively consistently on Big Mom. The difference is, in a Zoro situation, he's not as durable as Big Mom to withstand or take or counter any or all of the attacks that Kid will also now be able to land on Zoro. So it's like, if it's 1v1, he might have the advantage. But while dealing with the Law hacks, that Big Mom had Devil Fruit counters, Advanced Conqueror's Haki counters, flight counters, durability counters, Zoro doesn't have as much. He's not even as mobile as her. He can't even just like be in the sky. He's like a relatively stationary target versus these two dudes that can fight from range, in the pocket, with hacks, etc. And he doesn't have the buffs that Big Mom had to deal with them. She was able to whip out Hera and Prometheus and Zeus and whatever to try to help her, create homies, pull environmental things to her aid. Zoro's got 3 swords and some Haki. Zoro's a monster, but he's not, I don't think he could in any way overcome both of those people together. To me, I don't have Zoro there yet. He'll be there one day. I don't have him there. I don't think we're meant to look at him in that light yet.
I think this is where like the disconnect definitely comes into play for Haki. And I think that you like the versatility of Devil Fruits and how much they can do when Haki literally demolishes all versatility.
But Larry, Big Mom is a better Haki user than Zoro is. So even if we wanted to go into the Haki element, a person with superior Haki than him still struggled to deal with these two people, even though she had access to an ability that would allow her to deal with them in the way that you're suggesting. So even in the case of Haki, what they're showing and whipping out, to me, too much for a Zoro level Haki user to deal with, because he's not even as versed as Big Mom is at this.
No, I agree. Big Mom's more versed in Haki for sure. It does come down to this. Was she utilizing it?
I've always said that she probably was. We just don't see her fight. We don't see the whole fight for real. I don't want to knock Big Mom to be like, oh, she's incompetent a fighter. You know what I'm saying? So I've always just said she was, which is another reason why I scale Law and Kid higher, because I think they were dealing with her using Conqueror's Haki in the fight. You don't, which is fine. We don't really see it, so I can't be too mad at you for feeling that way. But like, I don't want to downgrade Big Mom's competence to be like, well, she just went with her Devil Fruit and ended up losing. Like, that's dumb to me.
So this is a arc that was focused on Conqueror's Haki. Let's say she was using the basic version of it. I'm just using it. You can't see it though. That's how miniature it's being used. It's just not there. We've seen her use it against Page 1 at its highest form, and she didn't do that once.
Can we argue that they didn't allow her to? They have hacks. They fight at range. Big Mom caught Page 1 in the pocket and landed on him. Page 1 doesn't have anywhere near any of the versatility to counter anything Big Mom had going on. He's just more durable than most people because he's a dinosaur.
So it doesn't take any type of effort in order to charge up your hand with Conqueror's Haki. It just instantly pulls to your fist and then you can initiate the contact. That's how Haki works. Garp showed it versus Aokiji. When he froze his arm, he used Haki. It immediately came, broke the ice. Big Mom, when she fought Page 1, also did Conqueror's Haki into her fist and immediately punched Page 1. It doesn't take that much time in order to initiate Conqueror's Haki into your fist or even armament Haki. Now, when we first saw her doing these Haki attacks is when Law was on top of her stomach after he put the sword straight through her and tried to do Shock Willie, and she used armament in order to punch him. In that case, she could have just used Advanced Conqueror's Haki if she wanted to, like she did with page 1, didn't do it. The next time we see her utilize Conqueror's Haki, and it was the only time in the fight we should suggest that she was using it, is when Damned Punk was pushing her down the hole and she was fighting back against it. And even then they were saying, we can't believe how much of a monster she is. She's actually just like winning at this point. So the whole fight, she wasn't utilizing Haki correctly or at its most advanced forms, knowing that she has all of it. Where Zoro differs is that Zoro is not going to be Devil Fruit reliant. He'll just be relying on the Conqueror's Haki that he's now utilizing, which he was against King. Therefore, if he's using Conqueror's Haki and he's using it at a level that Big Mom just wasn't, he doesn't need to be more durable than Big Mom because he has a higher attack output that also nullifies some Devil Fruit properties. So, for example, if Kid was to do even his magnetism on Zoro, most likely that's not going to work either because I'm leaking out and I'm focusing and I'm utilizing more Conqueror's Haki because also Enma's asking that from me. So if you know that Devil Fruits get nullified from Haki and he's using the highest tier of Haki, which is Conqueror's Haki, then I see that they actually have their attacks not as effective as it was on Big Mom. The fight changes if Big Mom utilizes Conqueror's Haki. That's it. Like the fight doesn't even get as close as it does. And that's on her. Well, I always say it's on plot, but Zoro's showing that that's not going to happen.
I can't agree.
I know you can't agree because, again, you've never lived down the fact that Conquest of the Sea is a Haki attack with 2 Conqueror's Haki users. And you're saying Blackbeard, even if he does have Conqueror's Haki and he does infuses it into the Goro should weigh out against a Haki attack from 2 Yonkos like that.
So Larry, can I ask you
already
something?
get it.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
You're basically saying Zoro's over Big Mom. Like, that's what you're saying with this.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, but you are, though. Because when it came down to it, plot or not, when Big Mom fought these 2 people, she didn't lean on her Haki to overcome it and was defeated. You're saying Zoro can lean on his Haki and overcome the 2 of them. You think he's stronger than Big Mom, bro? That's what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
You can't have it both ways, Larry. You can't have it both ways.
I've always said this, and I've said this for the longest time. The only reason Big Mom wasn't utilizing her Conqueror's Haki was strictly due to plot. That's it. And then you came back. No, and then you came back. Like, we've done this for what? How many years now? You've came back with the explanation that 1, she doesn't fight the way she should. She has mood swings. She's emotionally unstable. The reason why she didn't do this and here, that was based on her and not Oda. I can't sit here and say Big Mom does it to page 1, and we know she can do it against page 1.
But she wasn't in her right mind when it happened.
Hold on. She also fights Kaido and splits the sky with Kaido. And she's using observation Haki to detect that Zoro's probably going to slice or cut Kaido in a very ineffective way on the rooftop. But then all of a sudden she fights these 2 individuals and then she goes pure Devil Fruit. Even when she fought with like Marco, there's too many instances of where she like used Haki off rip and then she fights Law and Kid and then she just doesn't use any Haki. So I'm not saying that Zoro's over Big Mom. Absolutely not. I'm saying that Big Mom wasn't utilizing her Haki correctly in order to win the fight because she needed to lose in a specific way against these 2 individuals who lacked Haki.
That's how you feel, bro. That's how you feel. You wildin' today, man. You wildin'.
I guess.
All right, we got a couple.